Welcome to the first week of Lent, and as we get to know each other this Lent, one of the things that you'll discover is that I love to fish. Growing up in South Louisiana, it's just a part of life down there, part of the joie de vivre of Cajun country. I love everything about it. I love being on the boat, I love being on the water, I love the camaraderie, I love the joy of it all, but I love the hunt of trying to find the fish. They don't call it catching, they call it fishing. And in order to fish, you have to be able to have the toys that go along with fishing, right? If we look at what's in our tackle box here today, there's this lure right here. This one, it looks like a worm and kind of swims like a worm, and we would use this for fresh water, right? And there's this one right over here. It's a lot more colorful. You can see it's got all kind of action going on right here, and this is a little spinner, right? And what this is going to do is, as you're pulling it fast through the water, especially the clear water, that fish is going to be able to see the light. It's going to be attracted to the light, and it's going to come on over here with all this color. This one right over here, be careful with this one. This is it's what we call a saltwater topwater bait. We would use this one early in the morning as the sun is rising. Fish can't really see it, but they can certainly hear it. And they get right up to it once they can see it. And it looks like a fish and swims like a fish, right? And it sounds too good to be true. Until they find this treble hook right here. And that's trouble. And when I look at this bait, I ask myself, why in the world would a fish eat this? Well, that's the art of fishing, right? Every good fisherman knows that you want to present something to the fish that the fish thinks he wants. Not knowing that there's always a hook in the temptation, in the presentation. You can put this in front of a fish, and he listens to it. And sometimes if it's presented in the right way, he can't not get it. You and I struggle in the same way. You and I often, if we are honest with ourselves, hear the rattle of temptation. In order for us to be tempted, we have to be presented with something that we think we want. And just like every good fisherman knows when to throw this bait at a particular time of the day, temptation usually hits all of us at very particular times. Whether it's when we're stressed or hungry, angry, lonely, tired, temptation is always presenting something to us that when we hear it, we just can't say no. Now here's the thing. There's a fisherman on the other end of a fishing pole. And there's a tempter on the other side of temptation. There's only one reason why I usually go fishing in South Louisiana, and that fish is going to wind up in an ice chest and come back to my house. And we all know what happens when that fish hits the ice chest. There's only one reason why the tempter is offering you temptation, and it's not to present you with something that's flashy. It's actually to get us to bite on to a hook. And we've got to take seriously temptation, or there's only one inevitable end to the story, which is we just kind of fall into sin. That's why this Sunday, Jesus in the gospel is going to reveal to us how to face temptation. Jesus himself faced temptation. That's how we start off this journey of Lent, because he doesn't want us to be afraid to face temptation if we can grow in our awareness of what we're tempted with and what it sounds like within us, and if we face it with him. We have to take seriously what we are presented with, when we are presented with it, and how He wants us to respond. And that's what's going to transform our lives this Lent, right? Next 40 days, as we walk this journey together, what would your life look like if by Easter you weren't struggling with the same sins? Imagine if by the time that we got to Easter, if there was more freedom in your life. And if that's going to happen, like next Sunday, we're going to talk about getting to the top of the mountain with the transfiguration. We actually have to live our lives right now at the bottom of the mountain, where sometimes there's suffering because of sin and temptation. So I want you to trust the process. We're going to take one week at a time, but this week we're going to go real deep and we're going to get real as we look in our lives and we ask ourselves about temptation. And this Lent's going to feel different. It might feel maybe kind of personal and kind of intense. But Jesus Christ loves you enough to not go there with you. Because there's always implications when we give in to temptation. Let's start a process. Let's go on a journey. And this week, let's look deep inside our hearts so that we can be serious about the reality of temptation, and that we can learn that God is with us at every moment of our lives, especially when we face temptation. God bless you.